It's the Exit 52 podcast, Orioles series recap, Thursday, June 6th. Little happy hour, little thirsty Thursday here. My name is Jake Luke. I'm joined by my guy, 2 out of 3, or should I say 2 out of 4, RDT. How's it going?
It's going. Not much. It's again, it's a weird. These back-to-back 4-game series are weird to me already. But yeah, again, this one could have gone a little better, but we're here. We're alive, so we're doing all right.
What are we wearing there?
This is a Chenier Dupree 2005 shirt. That is my absolute go-to shirt. This was my work shirt today. The work from home uniform, but yeah, it's a little sleeve monster in the summer. You know, it's by far the most comfortable shirt I've ever worn, and I stole it in 2005 from the camp that I was counseling at, and it's still here 19 years later. So
just flexing the guns. You still fit into that thing 20 years later.
Of course, I think it's a medium or a large. I don't know. I don't even think the tag is still in it. Tagless, I think. I don't know, but. Again, it's a nice shirt to pop on, when it's, 84 degrees outside on a Thursday in June.
Yeah, homeowner life is fun because I've realized that I've already kind of become my parents in the respect that I'm just absolutely fighting tooth and nail not to turn the air conditioning on. It's just a war. I've taken like multiple showers today, and I just don't want to do it.
This is it's a tough week for that then too, because it's been hot all week. So except for the tornadoes last night, but yes, it's been a scorcher out there.
Those kind of went right over your dome piece there, didn't they?
Yeah, it was fine. I know my dad's work in Gaithersburg got hit pretty hard, but again, he works from home sometimes, so he could, he was able to avoid that. But yeah, they did kind of come out of nowhere. I knew that it was going to rain hard, but I didn't think we were going to get we always get the tornado watch, tornado warning. It's like, all right, whatever. And then it's like, oh no, that's an actual tornado. Like here are some pictures in Columbia and Gaithersburg. And I know Arbutus got hit bad and all that. So yeah, that was scary for a little bit. So hopefully the viewers were okay with everything and everything's good going forward.
Yep, absolutely. Hope everyone's all right. Everything is still standing for everyone. Still standing, are the Baltimore Orioles now at 39-22. It's been an interesting couple weeks, and I think with all that's been going on off the diamond with injuries and what have you, guys coming up, guys going down. We had Cade Povich come up for this series against the Blue Jays. Nick Vespi did his typical Grandpa Simpson in and out situation. He actually got to pitch this time, which was nice to see. But yeah, overall, Kyle Bradish, there was some concern because he didn't get the typical scheduled start. Brandon Hyde further elaborated today that it wasn't any discomfort or anything that he was reporting. They're just trying to manage him well. But overall, the result that you get with no Bradish is the Orioles go up to Toronto. They split a 4-game series with the Blue Jays. The first 2 games, they look probably as dominant as I think we've seen them all year. Then we had the game last night where it just felt like kind of a slogfest. It felt like a little bit of a come down after those first 2 games with, it was going to be hard to top them with them winning 10-1 in the second one. And Connor Norby, his first hit, another guy who came up and that being a home run. Mountie continuing to just do his thing and absolutely moonwalk all over the country of Canada. It was a fun start. But like I said, a come down there on Wednesday night. And then today felt like the game was really, really getting away from them. It basically had. And then Adley Rutschman, his second of 2 homers today, brought him a little bit more life than Ryan O'Hearn, who would have been the last batter of the game, hits another one. Brings it to, what did they wind up losing today? 6-5. Yep, 6-5. So it came down to Kyle Stowers. Wasn't able to get on board, and the Orioles, like I said, split the series 2-2. So just overall initial thoughts with this series, Eric.
That second game that you talked about, even the first game with Grayson, that was 7 where they went 7-1, was it? Yeah, 7-2. Yep. I'm sorry. 7-2 and then 10-1. Obviously everyone's feeling good, and it's like, man, we have a real chance to get 2 out of 3 out of 4, maybe a 4-game sweep here with Toronto. They looked just defeated, and Schneider had some weird comments about, oh, they're not the 27 Yankees, and yeah, that was just weird to me. But he's a weird guy. It seems like he's really fighting for his job. He may have given himself a couple extra weeks or days with these 2 wins here. But again, man, after those first 2 games, when they score 17 runs, and you're like, oh, we're cruising in this thing. You're like, oh, you get Kikuchi on Thursday, who the Orioles I think have hit pretty well. I know they've dinged him up the last couple times. But today they just could not get anything going against him. And you're right. Last night was Banks's favorite word, like the rock fight. I know we use that a lot in football, but it was just a 2-2, for majority of the game. The Orioles got Santander's home run last night. I was like, oh, we're cruising in this thing. This thing may be done. And then Ramon, who, like I said, we've tried to bury him for months now, and all he's done is hit and produce and play well. So, but then that was it. That was it for that night. And you had the Kimbrel people really bagging on Kimbrel last night. I don't think that was really Kimbrel at all. I mean, the throw to Mountcastle, which gets away, and they awarded him second on that or whatever, and then the long fly ball, and I don't know.
Not a save opportunity either. That was still a tie game. So
yeah, you had people be like, "Oh, I blew the save," and it's like, well, semantics. No, he didn't. He didn't blow a save. But there were people who were like, I knew we lost the game the second you brought him in. And I was like, no, you didn't. Like, he had pitched well. It was his first hit given up since May 8th. Like, he's pitched very well the last 10 outings or so. That's just a game. You just lose that game sometimes. Like, that's exactly what happens. It sucked to lose it. But then again, you're like, we have a good, you were lined up to again, still win a series with Cade Povich, a rookie, making his first start. And again, I mean, I still am very worried about Bradish, just the way they're saying stuff. And I know they're like, oh, it's not an injury. We just want to give him a rest. If you need to give him more rest, that's not good. But again, this goes back to people wanting him to go 120.
I've been germinating a little bit of a take about this, and it sort of goes into the conversation around Corbin Burns. Oh, he's never going more than 6 innings. He's never going. Why are they not letting him? Bradish the other night, why didn't they let him go for the no-hitter? I really think they're trying to strategically manage this stuff. And this might speak to something bigger as far as his health or whatever it is. But overall, I mean, I don't know. I just think that there is a plan in place. And while this might be a little bit more severe, like you said, to your point, I do think they have a plan as we welcome in. We weren't sure if he was going to join. He's got a lot going on. He's always got a lot going on. He's just one of the true dynamos of the sports media industry and landscape. It's Jack Settleman, Snapback Sports, sitting in his hotel room overlooking Rogers Center. Jackie, how we doing?
We're doing terrible. The Orioles are 0-2 with me in attendance this season. I am done going to games.
What I saw you was that you in the Blue Jays jersey today too, right?
That's his
move.
Yeah,
I know. I knew I was going to get a lot of shit. I knew that. No, we were wearing the jersey because we were filming a YouTube video, and the Blue Jays in that. But I have the picture of me in a Bengals jersey because I'm buddies with Evan McPherson, and that got posted somewhere last season. And people still, every time I talk about the Ravens, are like, "What do you know? You're a Bengals fan." But it's funny because we always grew up beating the shit out of the Bengals, and they were so irrelevant forever. Mm-hmm. Similar to the Blue Jays, they're irrelevant, although they did get the best of us the last couple of days.
Yeah, it happens. But again, interesting series. Like we were talking about, 17 runs scored the first 2 games, and we kind of thought all right, we're gonna cruise to a series win here. Even my dad, after Wednesday, was like, yeah, good series for them so far, but they can still split it. And I was like, what are you talking about? This, he was won 10-1. Corbin Burns just pitched his dick off. We're gonna be fine. And then again, just nothing from the second inning on last night until little Adley got him going today. And again, it was just too little, too late for the series win. But oh well, literally can't win them all. So people are still very upset about it.
What's the vibe with that hotel? Because I saw you and your brother posting in there the good video of him when they got walked off, and he just walks off, drops the F-bomb, and just plops into the bed there. What's going on with that? Because I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw you guys in it.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation. I think we actually stuck Casey in a kayak in McCovey Cove for a Giants game earlier in the week. So we've done a couple of these, unique experiences, and both times the big takeaway is if you came into it with your buddies and you got some drinks and treated it more as a vibe, or this for a playoff game, now it'd be more than the $600 that I paid for the night. It'd probably be a couple $1,000, but amazing view of the game. You're still in the stadium, and you can literally do whatever you want in the room. You got no line for the bathroom. you can pretty much you get like a suite to yourself. So it's pretty fun.
It does look sick. I've always like heard about, the people being like, yeah, there's a hotel out there. Again, this is the first like real inside like look I've seen. And
I always visualize it as like the Hilton in Baltimore, like, way out there. It looks like you're right on top of it.
I mean, you're literally in the stadium. Like there's probably, I would say there's probably like 8 or 10 more rooms like next to us and going across the outfield. But the people who are like at the foul poles in the hotel room, you can't really see, but they're like next to the people in the stands. Like you're fully in the stadium, unlike the Hilton where you're across the street, you have a view, but like you're like you can order room service from the stadium, up into the room, which is pretty cool.
That's sick. That
is
so cool.
Yeah. I actually like that a lot. I've been thinking about like making the Toronto trip the last couple of years. Because you can drive it hypothetically. I'd probably fly, but it's like 6 to 8 hours. So yeah, you could drive it too. Maybe make a road trip out of it. So yeah, maybe I'll put this on the old tickler file for when I finally.
It should go on the bucket list. I don't know, and also I think it's a good weekend trip. Like I would only do the hotel room for one night. Like once you've done it once, you don't really need to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rogers Center, they just renovated pretty much the whole, I want to say like 300 and up. And it's all built for like a night out of drinking with your friends. Like they've got bars, they've got live music where you don't even, like you're pretty much not even watching a baseball game. You can obviously do both. So I think a weekend in Toronto, you listen to some Drake, some Bieber, some Weeknd and see some games. It's like, honest. Oh, and they still are one of the only teams with Dollar Dog Night. So every Tuesday home game, if you're trying to extend, they have that as well. And their City Connects, they're pretty awesome too. So I have good things to say.
I like their City Connects a lot more than a lot of the other ones. So yeah, I thought they look good. The Dollar Dog Night, they sold like 53,000 hot dogs or loony dogs or whatever they call them. It was like 53,000 the other night on Tuesday. So.
That's crazy. The one warning is when you come and you're walking around in the stands and you see the prices and you're like, oh my God, it's like New York prices. You have to remember it's Canadian. And for like 30 minutes, I wouldn't buy anything because I'm like, I'm not spending $25 on a foot-long hot dog and a drink. And then I was like, all right, that's only $16. Like it's not as bad as I thought.
Somebody did point out too, because they show the like hot dogs sold, and they were like, Toronto is not beating the allegations that they're all just a bunch of fat asses on that team. And like 53,000 hot dogs sold. It's like, I don't know, or like that's not the team that should be bragging.
Daniel Vogelbach is nowhere to be found when the game's like ready to start.
Yeah,
Daniel Vogelbach, ironically, was everywhere to be found. I went to the gym this morning, and in the lobby, he's walking out. I guess he only on a 1-year deal, or maybe on like a. He could get cut or move to the minors. He's been one of those
like hired guns around MLB the last couple of years, I feel like, right?
He literally picked up his Starbucks from our hotel lobby and then rode it. I think it's connected to the stadium for the players. So I was laughing. I rode the elevator with Daniel Vogelbach this morning.
Have anything to say to him?
I didn't know what some of the fans were like. Oh, we love you. Like, good luck today. And I wasn't going to wish him luck because, one, he wasn't going to play. And two,
start networking. Hey, man, we should do a video together.
Stowers, he's followed Snapback for a while. That was probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to us and also made me feel old as shit. A couple of years ago, he DM'd me and was like, yo, like big fan, watch your stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? You're like going to the MLB. So I was DMing him and I was trying to get him to throw us a ball from the outfield, but he obviously didn't play until the pinch hit today. They made it close at the end. It was not an entertaining game though. I will say that. But besides the homers, the Orioles did not have much going on.
Yeah, no, it's that's kind of what it's felt like for them. I don't know how closely you've been following with you being up in New York and everything, but it kind of feels like they certainly do have games where it's just like it's kind of all or nothing, and the bats just kind of go quiet. And today certainly was one of those days. Not as bad as yesterday, thankfully. Yesterday was really a snooze fest. But overall, what was the vibe? The vibe on this trip? When are you heading back?
We're heading back tomorrow. Bad news for our Orioles, but I am going to a game in New York in a couple weeks. So hopefully going to break the streak. But
bring the intern with you. It's funny. Our mutual friend, also named Casey, says that the intern sports takes were always way better than yours growing up. So I had to shout him out.
He's always been the one that was starred for the camera, so I'm glad to see the soccer stuff taking off. But now that I'm starting to think back, I went to the playoff game against the Rangers, the last game when we got absolutely stomped, and then we were at Yankees Orioles in New York, and it was the game when I think Judge tied it in the ninth off Bautista.
Oh, against Felix? Yeah.
And I was at Angels Orioles last year when Adley hit the homer in the eighth to take the lead, seventh or eighth, and then we blew it in the top. So now I am getting concerned that I need to break the streak somewhere.
Yeah, we got to get you to chill on the in-person games for just a little bit, But yeah, that's we can't have that streak continuing of the horrific. It's not like they're just like losses; they're like horrific losses.
Horrific. I mean, all right, this is it was. I guess Maryland launched sports betting last year. Was last year the first year with sports betting? Or was it 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
All right. So pretty much the first baseball season. So we went to that Angels Orioles game, and I took Ohtani, Trout, and Santander to homer. It was 100 to win 10 grand, and it hit in the fifth inning. And so I had like a couple $1,000 in the account, and I had never like live bet a baseball game in person. And so, man on first, Adley's at the plate. We're down 1. And I said to my brother, I was like, how I know on like when you're watching the game, they cut the odds because it's a 10-second delay. But I'm like, I wonder if you could get the bet in. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? Because based off the swing, like it might be a single, it might be a double. Like you're not really going to be able. So I loaded up Orioles plus like 300 for a couple $1,000. And I was like, you know what? Just in case. And boom, within seconds, Adley, like right off the bat, you could tell it was headed to Utah, placed the bet. And I was already up so much on the day. I was like, I'm not going to hedge this. Like, we just took the lead. We're minus 900 now. And then they fucking blew the lead in the top. And I was like,
that's karma right there. You're trying to beat the system, and that's ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie. Fair karma. I was not upset at it. I was just, I was sad that I lost that money on what could have been free money.
I was gonna say you had a prime opportunity today with Adley 2 home runs sitting in the suite up there. Like
I know.
Both of those were gone right off the bat too. Like those are ones right away.
Easily, yeah. Like even Vladdy's, you couldn't really tell. I didn't have a good angle of it. Was it a bad pitch or it was just good hitting?
I mean, I thought it was an okay pitch. It was just that was like prime Vladdy. Like Vladdy just put a swing on it the other way. And it's like, oh, that looks like you could tell again by who was it, Santander and Wright, like just the way he was looking at the wall and like where he was looking and kind of positioning himself is like, oh, that ball's gone. So,
yeah, he hung it out there a little bit, but if he had some more speed on it or maybe a little bit more movement, it probably would have been fine. But that's just kind of what he's going to learn, I think, going up against some of these pros. But other than that, I mean, a solid day. He had a number of walks. That's probably something that's going to have to improve. He wasn't dealing with that in AAA. Per the Blue Jays broadcast that I was actually listening to today, who I'm a big fan of. Love those guys. But yeah, he walked a couple guys. He had a couple, I think, I don't know if those were errors, Eric, where they were kind of sneaking through on some of the guys that it felt like they were losing it in the sun. I think of a couple of those hits. And then, the one homer. But overall, I mean, like a guy who got called up to the taxi squad and very quickly is turned around and is starting for a very competitive team that has World Series aspirations. I think that was a pretty solid first start there for Povich.
And that's what I had tweeted. I was like, listen, it was a fine debut. Like his stuff, I thought he looked good. Like, again, obviously the walks, I think he had 4 walks. It's not great. But I thought his stuff, like he didn't seem flustered, even when he was walking guys. Like the sequence of the 2 walks and then the Vladdy home run, I think, again, that's just him. That's him learning, like, you can't get away with this in the bigs. In AAA, that's fine. Against Gwinnett or against Binghamton or whatever, yeah, you can do that, but not against Toronto. I don't care how bad Vladdy's looked this year. You're not going to get away with that. But I thought overall, he did really well. He wasn't at 70 pitches with 3 1/3 inning. He got to over 100. I think they said he's the first Orioles rookie to throw over 100 pitches in a start since Wei-Yin Chen in 2012. So I liked what I saw out of him. And then again, people were like, "Oh, he gave up 6 runs. It wasn't a good thing." And I was like, listen, if you take away the weird fluke play, not fluke, but the weird plays in right field, like you said, where kind of the Bermuda Triangle, if Stowers is in right, he probably catches those. Just weird plays. Like, I think the defense kind of let him down. But like, I think for a first career start on the road, facing this team in this ballpark, like, could have done much worse. I really liked what I saw out of him. I'm hoping that we see more of him coming up. And I'm sure we will, with a bunch of TBAs now, all over the probable sheet. But again, I mean, you couldn't have asked for much more out of, obviously not going to innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts, something like that. Like, it's, not every rookie is Luis Teal. So it's okay. I'm perfectly fine with him today. I wish the defense would have helped him out a little bit, but you can't really do more. Again, lost by 1 run. Obviously, a lot of the game was the offense just not coming. It's too little, too late, like I said earlier. But it was just the offense not doing anything really, and it's just back to kind of more of that home run or nothing approach that we're kind of complaining about last week.
Jack, I'm sure you love to bet on a pitcher too who looks like he's 12 years old, but like plays like he's way older than that. I mean, this guy looks really, really young.
I thought your guys' analysis was pretty fair. The general vibe watching from in the park was, it just felt like he didn't have his best outing, but that, I feel like, is a good sign. Like, it wasn't like a disaster. It wasn't he doesn't have potential. It actually looked like a veteran pitcher who, made a bad pitch on the Vladdy homer. Like you said, I was watching, and I actually thought I was having deja vu. The right field blooper thing was the identical play. Like, you would have thought they had learned from 30 seconds previous. And to your point, if the offense had scored more than 1 run over the last 9 innings, maybe he doesn't come out and pitches in the 6th inning, and maybe it is a 4-1 ball game. And I don't know about counting on the pen, but yeah, maybe it's more competitive. I think they kind of let it get to that point because they were like, we don't need to use arms. This offense isn't going to go and score 5 runs. And then, O'Hearn obviously changed that in the 9th.
Yeah, and taking it to a little bit more of a positivity, because we've talked a lot about this most recent game. Eric, Connor Norby, obviously starts out with the home run, another hit today. He's looked solid in the field. Like, is it a foregone conclusion that when Mateo's ready, he's going back down? What do you think?
I don't know. I am not envious of Brandon Hyde and Mike Elias and the decision that they're going to have to make, because again, a couple weeks ago, it was all, oh, well, you'll just DFA Ramon. And now, well, no, you're not going to do that. You were never going to DFA Ramon. I don't know, because again, Norby, he hit the home run the other night, had a hit today, and he hasn't looked overpowered. I think we talked about that in the group chat, but he didn't look like Jackson Holliday. He came up, he looked like a 20-year-old facing big league pitching. Norby 23, he's much older than him, but he looked like he belonged. He was hard outs, even when he was striking out, like, it wasn't a horrific at bat. I don't know what you do with him. I don't know where they feel comfortable with him at defensively too. Obviously, you saw him get subbed out at the end of the one game, but I don't know. I really, truly have no idea what they do. Again, obviously, with the way Mateo was playing, he has to play. He's a weapon every time he's in there. I have no clue, no idea what they do. I don't know. I'm sure they're working on a trade. If Ramon is in, then that would be great. But I don't know what they do. No clue. I wish I had a smart answer or something, but I got nothing for you.
Jack, I'm sure you have a super hot take on it.
I feel like you just got to sit. I mean, you got the new owner who is obviously willing to have a long-term outlook. Like, if this question was posed to me 12 months ago with the old ownership, I'd probably say package Stowers, Norby, Jackson Holliday at that point, and go all in, because you just knew he wasn't going to pay Gunner. You just knew that, Rutschman might not even, that you just knew that nothing was going to happen. And so you kind of almost had to take the Athletics approach in the reverse, where you trade all the prospects for a star for a year. But now it's like, I think they can go play in AAA. I think he can come up. There's going to be injuries. The season's just way too long. So right now they're not getting at bats, but Mateo could miss 40 games with a freak accident. Like, who knows? So I think you just sit. They can still get reps. They can still be around the team. I just think it's too early to think about trading all the young guys. For who? Like, what? For who are you trying to go and get?
Luis Robert.
Who?
Luis Robert.
No. That dude, he got hurt in the home run derby. This is a guy, like, again, that's a guy who, if the Orioles want to trade, I'm not putting together a package for Lubob. If he comes in a package with other players, fine, but, like, I'm not going out to get him. That guy will get hurt literally walking off the bus. And, like, we make fun of the like, Ubaldo sprained his ankle in the parking lot. He will do that. I promise you that. I do not want.
Also, people are complaining about a home run centric offense. What are you going to talk about on the show you trade for him? It's going to be just homers all day, and
it's not our show. I mean, like, there are other shows that might get some good content out of it.
Fair enough.
That's not. But I'm with you, Jack, too, because, like, that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, you got to trade for a pitcher," and I want a pitcher, honestly. I don't know who the guy is. Luzardo has an ERA over 5. He's a bad whip. He was dealing with elbow issues this year too. So it's like Verlander, he's 41. Like, he's an old dog. I don't know. I mean, I truly don't know, like, who the guy, Crochet from the White Sox, that guy has already blown past his career, his high in career innings. So
package him and Robert and send little Jackie and a couple other pieces, and World Series. They're coming.
Get that. We're not doing that. I don't know. I don't know who the guy is, who they go out and trade for. Again, I do think they need pitching help, obviously, now with a bunch of TBAs, but I don't know who the guy is. So Jack, you nailed it there. Like,
Jake was like, I'm sure you have a hot take on this. And we're like, yeah, let's just sit pretty. And he's like, all right, let's trade Holiday. let's get them all out.
Get some takes going. Have a take, don't suck. That's my motto.
I love it.
Don't hate it.
All right. I guess the last thing on the agenda that I had was, Jack, were you there for the Mounties dominance, Ryan Mountcastle?
No, we missed that one. Were we flying? No, I think we're at the A's game that night. All right, you want to know an experience, and I'm not kidding. You're going to think that I'm trolling. If you somehow end up in San Francisco on the West Coast, obviously see
that'll never happen.
But the Oakland Athletics experience is like, it's one of a kind. Not necessarily in a good way, but just seeing 1,000 people in a 40,000 plus seating stadium, and the fans like are just so passionate. There were 2 people in our section, two people, and the one guy is waving a flag, cheering, like dying on every pitch, and it kind of like breaks your heart a little bit. You have so much respect for it, but I think sometimes in sports, like, we complain, and now, Baltimore Ravens and Orioles, we got champagne problems. Norby, Stowers, like, who are we going to trade? And they're like ripping this team straight from Oakland. But it is a really cool experience. Plus, you can bounce around, see literally, any part of the stadium. They'll let you walk down to the dugout and take pictures of the players, like, because one of the staff members, she was like, telling us off camera, she was like, yeah, you guys should come to the protests on Friday, literally working for the team. It was just such a unique and interesting experience. Do the O's, they got to play Oakland at some point this year out there. Have we already played them?
No, not out there.
Once in Baltimore, yeah, but not out there yet.
Yeah, so a weird experience, but
it's literally the same thing that happened to the Raiders. Like, the move to Vegas got announced, and they're like, "Well, we still got to play here in Oakland for like 3 more years, so, like, enjoy."
Yeah, literally.
Well, and Vegas doesn't even want the Athletics. Like, they legitimately are like, "No, we're good." you guys stay there. And Oakland's like, we don't want them either. So I feel bad for them. I've talked to Dallas a bunch about it. And again, it sucks. It's a shitty situation for the players and all that, but it's just, again, it's awful ownership. Thank God we are out of that pocket of our life, but awful ownership out there.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else? Anything else we got to go through here? Eric, you good?
I do want to give my dog of the series to Austin Hayes. It was awesome to see him. Yeah, him blasting some balls the other night. He's hitting balls hard. Again, my favorite. Oh, I mean the skipper. We have to talk about the skipper.
Yeah, well, that's my dog of the series is the skipper.
Monday night, or Monday during the day, I'm getting all these tweets like, why is Hyde not starting Stowers? Why is he starting Hayes? And I'm like, have you looked at Hayes' numbers versus Gossman, or are you just looking like lefty righty? Is that what we're doing, or like are you putting any research into it? And then like halfway through the game, I'm getting the tweets like, all right, now I get it. And it's like, yeah, you act like Hyde is just picking random names out of a hat. Like there's not research into these lineups and analytics. Like, you fucking idiots. You Chick-fil-A voice, not taking a drink in between bites, ass.
Yeah, go back to your shit. Jack, who's your dog of the series?
Well, I was going to say, I do set my MLB The Show lineup strictly off of lefty-righty matchups. Even when the righty hits the righty better and it shows you on screen, I like the L versus R. It makes me feel more confident at the plate. Hazy not only hit the 2 homers, but took a pitch today right in the body. And I actually thought for a second he was going to go out there. He was not very pleased, but he shook that off pretty well.
Yeah,
I thought it got him in the elbow, and then they said in the ribs, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they were like, the Blue Jays. I kind of looked down too, and the Blue Jays were like, yeah, that can lead. I was kind of like half listening because I was still doing work, and like the Blue Jays broadcast was like, yeah, that can lead. The guy has a weird voice. He's like, yeah, that can lead to like a cracked rib, and I was like, what? And I like looked up, and he was like just grimacing, and then obviously, we played on, but yeah, that was bizarre. But yeah, he's a good dog pick, I think.
Yeah, has to be. So good for old Hayes. Happy to see him hitting well, playing well.
And for the skipper, who, his belief in him is it's well founded.
You guys love the skipper, huh?
We listen, nobody loves the skipper more than the X52 podcast.
Big skipper guy.
I love to hear it.
All right, lads. That all we got for a series?
We got go O's. I'll let you guys know how we do when I'm in person at the Yankees game. Hopefully break the streak. If not, I might have a self-imposed ban. Or you guys might call in and say Jack's interpreter. He's been betting $7 million on games, and he can no longer be at MLB ballparks.
Next time you're down visiting the folks too, let us know, and we'll all catch a game together and try to break that curse together. We'll take you to the center field, Coors Light flight deck. Yep. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another series recap. Weird series, fun series overall. I think on balance, great to see little Connor Norby come up and bash that first dinger in there. Mountie, the memes continue, and they're tremendous. Adley, a great game today, and a tough 2-2 split, but they're still chugging along. Hopefully they'll get that 40th win any day now. In the meantime, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Like all our videos, comment. I mean, this is a YouTube pro here below me, actually, who nuked his YouTube page, restarted, and now he's just doing tremendous. So amazing stuff there. And, I'm just trying to be like him every single day. So if you want to help me do that, subscribe to the page, comment on all the videos, get the algorithm going. Follow us on social media at Exit52 Podcast across the board, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I am at Jake Luke. That's spelled Louque. Jack, where can they find you?
At the Exit 52 podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button.
That's massive. He's at Jack Settleman on X, as he would call it. He's just a true company man, a true pros pro, loves Elon. Eric at EDITTI22, Brian at Barstool Banks, Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10, Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. Thank you guys again for tuning into the series recap, and we will see you again sometime soon.